Hello, you little gorgeous donuts. Today we're going to be talking about Ash Trevino, TikTok's most disturbing mother. If you don't know who this woman is, basically she became famous for basically ditching her kids to hang out with other people's kids. She's often pictured in like malls with like 19-year-olds. She was actually seeing a 19-year-old, and you're going to see later in this video, she actually did more than just see this 19-year-old. She's one of those TikTok live streamers that just does the most outrageous things to go viral. And she's also infamous for being an inmate hopper, because the only people she goes out with are convicts or ex-convicts, which is, you know, a great thing to introduce to your children. However, recently she's even took it one step further by going to the Bop House with her children. Now, for people that don't know what the Bop House is, this is basically an OF house with, like, you know, borderline underage girls selling their body, obviously, to creepy men that want to buy it. Now, normally when Ash Trevino goes on her antics outside, she leaves her kids, but for some reason, she's decided to bring them to the Bop House. Now, any parent watching this, you'd obviously, like, want to keep your children away from that, because, you know, you want to keep them young as long as possible. You don't want them exposed to that kind of thing, because it's just a little bit creepy, in my opinion. Why is she just standing in the back, like she's Kris Jenner? You're doing great, sweetie. Well done. Ash, take your kids home, okay? I know people have told you to spend more time with them, but don't bring them here. Take them, I don't know. Where do you go in, like, America? Like, to an IHOP? That's a place, right? Or go to, I don't know, the shops. Don't take them somewhere like this. This is into the devil's lair. God, this is just pure brain rot, pure nightmare fuel. Do you know when you wake up at 3 AM with like the most anxiety you've ever got? This is what you see in the corner of your room. Oh, that sound, man, goes right through us. Might as well just be playing the iPhone alarm clock sound. Oh, come on, man. Is it just me, or is it a little bit weird that, you know, how young our daughters are, that they're making videos with these people, knowing what audience these people have and why these people follow these people? Surely that is something that you want to just not let your kids get involved with. Well, some people might have been like, well, at least just taking our kids out, you know, just spending time with them. That was the main purpose of this trip. Well, you're wrong, because the main purpose of this trip to the Bop House was to do her first podcast. We've got an Ash Trevino podcast before GTA 6, ladies and gentlemen. What's the world coming to? Now, for some reason, she decided to also get her kids in this podcast, which was the worst decision she could have ever made, and you're gonna see why.
Okay, guys, we're back. Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
Oh, God. Now, this podcast is hosted by Camilla, and she's actually quite a good podcast host. Like, she really presses Ash Trevino on a lot of questions. Like, straight away in this podcast, she confronts Ash Trevino about leaving her kids to go and hang out with other people's kids. Like, imagine somebody your age knocking on your door to play out, and it's not with you, it's with your mom. Like, oh, man.
So, honestly, I've raised my kids since they were born. Never left their side. Till this day, still have not left their side.
But people would say that they're with their grandparents majority of the time.
Well, the little one does live with me, but recently she went back for a bit.
Right, straight away, if you've got to say on a podcast that, you know, you've been with your children since, you know, the day they came out, I feel like that's a given. Like, I don't think that's something that you need to kind of say. That should just be expected. Like, if you leave your kid after they've been born, you're a bit of an arse, okay? You shouldn't get praise for staying with your kids.
So, of course, you know, whenever you're kind of raised by your mom and your grandparents, you kind of fall into like a grandparent's baby, you know, so to speak.
This is so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know why the two kids are on the podcast here. I don't know if it's to, like, prove something, like, show that she does actually hang out with them, but they just look so uncomfortable. Like, look at them both here. She does not want to be here. She's looking at this going, when this hits my Friends For You page, I'm over. I'm done. Camilla then asks Ash Trevino about the kids' dad's family, like coming forward with different stories about what's happened to them. And Ash basically just says that the family's coming forward now because they want clout from Ash Trevino.
You mentioned that the family is speaking out and trying to get clout. Mm-hmm. Why do you feel that way? Like, what is the story, and why do you feel the family speaking out on it now?
Of course, you know, like, and it's not only to him, but it's literally to my other exes as well. There's 2 more that I'm speaking of. literally, like, as soon as my name started going across the internet and TikTok, of course, they started coming out with certain stories. Oh, I'm the kid's dad's friend. I'm the cousin. I'm the aunt, whatever. I guess like now they're trying to get the followers. They're trying to get this. They're trying to get that. But in reality, they weren't there for my kids like they should have.
What clout? What clout are they trying to get here? Sorry, what does clout even mean? Like, does Ash Trevino have clout? What is clout? I don't even know what that word means. I need to Google it. Like, is clout something you want to have? Because if Ash Trevino's got it, I don't want any of it. Influence or power, especially in politics or business. Does Ash Trevino have that? Really? Does she have influence or power? Over who? Over who? I believe the only people that follow Ash Trevino is just to see, like, the drama unfold. I don't actually believe she actually has pure stands of her, and if they do, I don't want to ever meet that type of person. Yeah, I also leave my kids to hang out with other kids. Put it there, Ash. Ash Trevino, more like Ash f***ing hero. It's interesting because in various parts of this podcast, the mic gets transferred to the children, and they're kind of using this as like an avenue to kind of speak out against the mom, like publicly, because obviously I imagine when they do this in private, they probably get shut down by their mom. Like one of her daughters talks about how Ash Trevino said that she was jealous of her because her dad loved her more than she loved Ash. And then Ash's response to this is, how could she be jealous of her daughter when she literally buys her Gucci bags, which that kind of completed it for me, right? Kind of shut the daughter down there. Can you just shut your mouth, please? How can I be jealous of you? I bought you a Gucci bag. How does that correlate at all? Like, if you were jealous of her, would you not buy her a Gucci? I don't understand where the correlation is here. Like, you bought your daughter a bag. That doesn't mean anything, even if it's Gucci or if it's Gola. I don't understand. Like, is Ash saying if she was jealous of her daughter, then she would just kind of not buy her anything? But then that's kind of neglect in a way, isn't it? Like, not buying her a single thing. Ash also says, like, how can she be jealous when she literally had their dad when she was 15?
I mean, hey, the internet's gonna say
Because
what
where
they
was your
want.
Gucci bag at 15?
You know what? I might have not had a Gucci bag, but I had their dad, okay? At 15, so.
Oh no. Oh no. Have you seen how her daughter like tries to grab her arm just to like tell her mom, like, mom, can you just like calm down? Bear in mind, like, I believe that their dad isn't alive anymore. Like, you know, it's probably like a very touchy subject for them, like every time their dad gets brought up. I don't know if she's insinuating that she slept with their dad when she was 15. That's what it sounded like. It's just really, really weird. Like, imagine, just put yourself in the children's perspective. You're on a podcast with your mom in front of millions of people, and she's bragging about shagging your dad when she was 15. How do you come back from that? Like, how do you just go to school the next day? You can tell the type of person that Ash is because she doesn't really get that, like, agitated when she's asked these questions about leaving her kids or about the kids' dad. However, when she's confronted about possibly buying fake designer bags, that's where she really fights her corner.
First of all, girl, you know that in your TikTok shop, it says that, like, what you bought, and people are like, girl, that is off-brand Louis. Have you ever been caught with an off-brand bag?
No, I haven't, to be honest. Like, they literally think my Louis are fake. I can pull up the receipt right now if you want to see it. I can log into my Louis account right now.
Oh, she got an account.
I got a YSL account,
Okay,
Gucci, and Louis. Yeah.
Stop playing with her.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, this just shows that she seems like a bit of an insecure person. Like, she's proven to people like us who don't even know her, she's trying to prove that her bag's on fake. Like, we don't care. Like, why do you care if we know if they're fake or not? Like, how about you just look after your children? That's what everyone's bothered about. No one's asked if you're buying fake Louis Vuitton bags. If you want to do it, do it. I don't care. Literally couldn't care less. I actually, like, want her children to be okay. I just, like, feel empathy towards them because look at their faces. They're so embarrassed to be here right now. There's various parts in this podcast where I just feel so sorry for our kids. For instance, they talk about how they can't have any of their friends over because their friends' parents won't let them come to Ash Trevino's house because of the possibility that they could be on TikTok Live. And you can tell Ash doesn't feel any guilt for this.
Their friends, some of them do not come over my house anymore.
Okay.
Just because the parents don't feel comfortable because my address is leaked.
Okay.
And so I totally agree with that. I understand that. There is some that still come over, and when I'm live, they know, so they stay out of the area where I am live.
So you don't feel like any sort of guilt or sadness that they've lost friends because of it, and they've expressed that?
No, because it's not even for that reason, to be honest. I feel like some of their friends are jealous because of the life that they have.
Like, that is some really weird behaviour and not feel any guilt. Like, having your friends over after school is, like, one of the best things when you're younger. Like, it's so exciting knowing that, like, at the end of the day, one of your mates is coming over just to, like, chill. Like, that's such a nice experience to have as a kid, and the fact that that's kind of been tore away from them because their mom is more bothered about, like, battling people and flirting with people on TikTok Live. And like Ash has just said, like, our kids have lost friends over this just because of what our mom's doing. Like, surely when your decisions are having such a negative impact on your children's lives, that's where you kind of pull the plug on whatever you're doing to cause all of this. But as you can see previously in this podcast, it's very clear that Ash Trevino's own personal goals are above anything else in our life.
There's reasons why I pulled Haley out of school, because she wasn't talking to certain friends anymore also. Right. And it wasn't because of me. It was because of things that when you're a teenage girl, you and your friends fight.
Right.
So she just didn't like going because they were having a fallout or something. So, you know, with that, she was just like, Mom, I don't want to go to school no more. Can you homeschool me? So I finally did it.
Okay, right? Like, I agree. Kids are, like, awful at a certain age where they can kind of make other people feel isolated. But I guarantee the stuff that you're doing on TikTok Live is contributing to why certain people might be isolated now. Everyone knows what school's like, okay? If your mom was doing this, you know you're getting the ripped out of you, especially if it's on TikTok Live, the app that everybody has, and she won't even take, like, a little bit of responsibility for that. Like, this situation has got so bad that our kids don't feel comfortable going to school, and she still hasn't stopped. I just feel like she's never gonna stop doing what she's doing at this point, because this is so brutal. Like, genuinely, this is really, really, really fucking bad. Like I've said previously in this video, you can tell the girls, the daughters, are using this opportunity on this podcast to bring up stuff kind of publicly so the mom can't shut them down about it.
Have you taken a situation and used it for views regarding the kids? Would you feel like maybe she has done that ever?
Yeah, but not me, my sister. You've taken her when she was sick and you were begging for money.
When?
You said send the Galaxy to know about my baby girl's health when I was in the hospital.
Oh, that's because, yeah, that was like a while back though. But you weren't even in the hospital.
Yeah, but no, but I still didn't like that.
Yeah, but we've already.
But you wanted my information out for.
Sorry, right? Let's just rewind a step there. When our daughter was in hospital, ill, Ash Trevino was on TikTok Live going, if you want to know what's wrong with me daughter, send us a Galaxy. Yeah, I want to get off the Earth. Is there a stop here? I want to get off. I want to go to Mars or wherever the next stop is. I just can't do this anymore. I want to get off this galaxy. Never mind the TikTok one. Imagine being in hospital and your mom's not even there, right? Or she is there in the corner like, by the way, guys, if you want me daughter to get better, you better send them lines and roses in. She's not going to fix herself. These healthcare benefits aren't going to fix themselves. I just can't. This is just wild. This is just dystopian. I can't. This is really, really, really bad. This is one of the worst things I've ever reacted to for deepness. It's the fact that you can tell that in private, Ash will just kind of disregard our kids' feelings, because even on a podcast, when she's bringing this up, she's just going like this to them. It's whatever, it's in the past. Like, not acknowledging that this is something that's really kind of, you know, emotionally hurt a daughter. Like, she doesn't even really care.
You sold her out for a galaxy? You sold her out for a galaxy?
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like
She's
that.
In the hospital talking about something. Give me a galaxy if you want to know what's wrong with her.
She wasn't in the hospital.
Say sorry. Say sorry right now. She's about to cry. Give her a hug and say sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, like, her eyes are actually watering. The mom is just creased, just like laughing her head off right beside her. Hasn't said sorry, hasn't hugged her. It's just like laughing in her face. Do you realise how, like, dark that is? If you thought it couldn't get worse than that, we actually learned that Ash Trevino's kids don't even have beds at Ash's house.
Do you have beds?
Well, I don't live with my mom.
But at your mom's house?
No.
I'm going to Zelle you. I'm going to give you money for, I want a bed, 2 mattresses, 2 of them. I want a headboard and 2 nightstands. I'm going to order that before you leave this house today. And I'm going to insert the clip of the receipt.
There's a story behind that, okay?
Please tell me why.
This is not funny anymore. Like, why do your own kids not have beds in your own home? Like, I would get this, okay, a tiny bit. If you were really, really struggling for money and then moved out and, I don't know, you've got to rent a room or you've got you turn a room into, like, something else because they've moved out, etc. But these are still kids. They're not, like, old and moved out. They've moved out because they don't feel comfortable living at your house. And the fact you've just got rid of the beds. And this isn't even, like, a case of money as well. Like, I'm just like, being devil's advocate there. Ash Trevino brags about buying real Louis Vuitton bags, buying Gucci bags. Buy them beds. That's just, like, goes without saying. Like, at the start of this podcast where she was kind of like gloating that she's never left the side since they were born. That's a bare minimum. Just like having, like, letting your daughters have beds. My God. It's just so sad because obviously these daughters don't have, you know, their father isn't around anymore. And, you know, that's why you really need, obviously, your mother to really put you first because you've only got one parent. And, you know, Ash Trevino really isn't doing this, and I just hope that the daughters do grow up to be okay, because this whole thing they're going through right now when they get off this train, I don't even know what's going to happen. This is going to be, like, this could be really, really bad. They then ask the question if they would want to go back to when their mum didn't, like, live stream on TikTok, if they want to kind of have the life they had before.
And growing up, that's why I'm homeschooled too. In the beginning of school, people noticed my mom, and I got like in the cafeteria a lot of stares. And so if I could, I honestly would go back to my old life, to being a nobody to people, because that's when I was more confident, didn't care how I look. And now since I'm publicly, I've cared more about how I look, how I go out. And stuff.
Like, you saw midway through that sentence, she was about to cry. And the fact that earlier in this podcast, Ash Trevino took no responsibility for how our kids were getting treated at school, when literally one of our kids who's been pulled out of school has said that she was getting loads of stares and loads of comments about her in school because of her mum's antics. Oh my God, this is one thing that I think we're going to see a lot more of going forward in the future, because obviously when I was in school, my parents were of an age where, like, they didn't grow up with this kind of thing, so they didn't really have access to it. But in the future, when, like, parents have had access to social media, there's going to be like a digital footprint for their kids when they go to school. Like, people are going to know if their mom and dads have done stuff on social media. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be such weird territory. And I feel like people forget the impact that the antics have on their children and their children's lives. It literally changes them forever. This is a perfect example of it. Moving on, Ash then talks about her newest boyfriend, who is 23 and is actually her biggest gifter on TikTok.
I'm not going to talk about
to
it.
see how many galaxies and lions you get, so he knows how much to ask you to pay.
No. Literally, he's one of my biggest gifters on TikTok.
So he's like a mini sugar daddy.
He's young, but he's
How old
younger
is
than
he?
me. He's 23. What?
Why not? Okay, like
He's one of my biggest gifters, and we've been talking since December.
So you're just gonna date the biggest gifter?
How, like, everything about this woman is like a character to people off, but it's actually her. This is actually how she thinks. She was talking to the host there as if the host was the idiot for not agreeing with her. Why are you going out with your biggest gifter on TikTok, who is a 23-year-old person? What is this, some sort of auction? The person that bids the biggest amount gets to shag Ash Trevino? It's TikTok Live, love, not bargain hunt, not Homes Under the Hammer. This isn't an auction. Just imagine, like, a Twitch streamer, okay, just was constantly getting a lot of donations from somebody, and then they ended up being in a relationship with that person. Like, instantly the internet would be on them and just be like, that's a really weird kind of social dynamic, because, like, the creators kind of got power here. Do you know what I mean? Like, the donators trying to get your attention by giving you all this money. It's like a weird kind of power imbalance that you just don't want to kind of cross. One thing I do like about this host, Camilla, is she does actually, like, confront Ash Trevino, though it's like a really weird vibe in this podcast, because I believe Ash thinks that they're both on the same wavelength here, laughing at the same things, whereas the host is really laughing at Ash Trevino a lot of the time, not with her. Like, she confronts her about constantly going for younger men.
You don't need to be worried about someone, like, not saying someone else's kids, because if you fall in love, you fall in love, but I feel like in my head, it's like, why would you go for someone who is underdeveloped?
So with that, I always
Because they are. Your brain does not fully develop till the age of 25.
Yeah, but age to me is, I mean, literally, if you're over the age, you're an adult, you're gonna be the one to tell yourself what to do at that point, you know? And
Right.
he lives on his own. He doesn't live with his parents. He's already went to school.
Basic requirements, by the way.
Literally, like, I mean, there's so much more I can say about him, but I don't want to put his...
Sorry, this is like... I can't believe this is a real person. What? Yeah, well, he has finished school, so he's mine now. The host was literally like, yeah, that's kind of like a basic requirement that they've finished school, especially when you're a 36-year-old woman. Last year, you literally could have just been on a BMX and waited at the school gates for him to finish. Like, what, does this make it okay now? I am frazzled right now. I am bacon frazzled.
To where he would feel it's appropriate to lick your rose toy because perhaps he's been there down there before.
So, yes, we have done stuff.
Okay.
Twice. 2 separate occasions.
With a 19-year-old boy.
I didn't know he was 19 at the time.
So this is before you knew.
Yes.
Claimed before you knew.
Literally. Like, we did it twice, and it was literally before Christmas, so.
That's disgusting.
Bear in mind, like, she is 36. Wait, that's nearly, that lad is nearly half her age. It's the fact he's only a couple of years older than our oldest daughter. I just don't understand how you can kind of, like, put yourself in that position where you'd want, oh, mate. And we've seen that Santos. He looks young. He might try and act hard. 16! His mum still buys his trousers. Also, why has she got, like, a rose toy box on her thigh right now? This is the weirdest pick a mix ever. What meal deal is this? Sorry. Flamin' Hot Cheetos, some like, is that like a chocolate dip? And then a rose toy. I'd probably rate that 4 out of 5 if I'm being honest, if that was in my meal deal video. The rose toy really brings it up a little bit. I can't believe like she's just openly said that and feels no shame though. That is one of the wildest things I've ever seen admitted on a podcast.
The internet thinks you're still getting with teenage boys. What's the truth?
So I'm not. I don't, like I said.
Guys, they're not in their teens. They're in their early 20s.
Literally, they're already out of their teen years.
Yeah. They're not children. They're adolescents.
This is so weird because the host is taking the piss out of her here. And then she's like joining in as if like they're both making the jokes together. Like, no, we are laughing at you right now. We're not even laughing. We're just disturbed, love. Genuinely. Like a lot of the time in these videos, I always try and make them balanced. But at this point, this is just hard to kind of see it from her point of view. I have tried to see it from her point of view in previous videos we've done on her. But in this one, what do you even say? Like, I get that she wants to live the life that she never had when she was younger because she was looking after her kids. But this is not the way to do this. Just go for bottomless brunch at Turtle Bay with a bunch of other people your age and kind of talk about the good old days. Just do that. Or go to like All Bar One or something like that. You know, get a few cocktails with the girls, right? Have your girly day, put it on Instagram. Not this, love. Please. Like, do yourself a favour. Do everyone a favour. Stop this. Right, still post content, but just not this. The podcast then kind of fizzles out and the host, Camilla, kind of gives Ash a lecture on how she should look after her kids. And although it is nice to see somebody, like, straight up say to her face, like, look, what you're doing here is really disturbing, you need to stop. I don't really think that this host, Camilla, should be made out to be a hero because, I'd like, she's still invited Ash, or let Ash's kids into the Bop House and has got them on this podcast and has asked her mom all of these really weird questions in front of them. I just feel like everyone is kind of using Ash Trevino as well as her kids for more views or more clout, as the term is. Like when the kids got kicked out of the podcast, straight away the rest of the Bop House were trying to make content with them. It's like, you can see by their faces, they clearly don't want to be in this. In just every little video that can kind of squeeze out of this family, they're trying to do it. They don't care about them. They genuinely don't. This was a video the host, Camilla, did before Ash Trevino and her kids came to our house.
Watching Ash Trevino is like watching a car accident that never stops crashing.
Wait, Alexa, play Como la Flor.
So like you see, she isn't interested in helping these people. She's got them on the podcast because she knows it'll do well. And it's absolutely done numbers. It'll make her loads of money. And it's just sad to see because it seems like nobody in the space around these children actually is like putting them first. Like not even their own mother. And I really was hoping after they went home, after being at this Bop House and done this podcast, I was hoping Ash Trevino might have a little bit of like self-reflection. At least take the night off TikTok and just kind of think about what her daughters have literally said to her live in front of millions of people. However, straight away, she just jumped straight back on live talking about how her new boyfriend isn't messaging her back.
We were on the phone FaceTiming for some hours, maybe like an hour, maybe. And he's like, my friend's calling, let me call you back. I said, okay. And don't go tell him I'm saying this. And I'm like, all right, tell me why I still haven't even heard from him. I haven't got a text or a call, and I'm not going to text him or call him. He's with his friend. Okay, that's fine. But it's like, bro, that's one of my pet peeves.
Do you know what one of my pet peeves are, actually? Is when my daughters bring up on a podcast that I don't really, care for them, and that I do everything to embarrass them and ruin their lives. That's a little pet peeve of mine. Why are you straight away on TikTok Live talking about this? This is so minor, so minuscule compared to the actual issues that are going on around you right now. Oh, it actually infuriates us. Like, I'm actually speaking like from the heart here, emotionally. I haven't even got my logical head on. It's just very, very scary, this entire dynamic of this family, and I really hope the best for both of our daughters, because I just don't see this thing lasting this very long. Like, once people stop talking about Ash Trevino and the whole clips die down, etc., that's going to be a really kind of dark place for her, and I just hope our kids don't get the brunt of that. Anyway, guys, if you would like to watch a previous video I have done on Ash Trevino where I talk in detail about her antics, click this video right here, or watch a brand new video from me right now, right here.